Today on Cooking with a Line, we're making a simple cake that can be enjoyed for dessert, for breakfast, and also served for an afternoon tea or coffee break. And it's all happening right now. Let's get started. One of the best things about this cake, other than the incredible flavor, is that it comes together so easily in a food processor. So all the work actually happens in here. We're gonna add the ingredients, well, like what? Well, starting with some dark brown sugar. And dark brown sugar isn't just about sweetness, it's about holding on to moisture and giving like a lovely chew to it. Next up is granulated sugar. Make sure that the outer crust on the outside edge is nice and crispy, almost like a cookie. And the last thing that goes in for the time being are toasted or roasted salted almonds. And they all go in. What I'll do is I'll pulse this up and then blend it for about a minute until everything is fully incorporated. That looks great. And I know it's ready because it looks like a cresting surf of the ocean, and it starts to kind of pull over itself. Now it's time to add the dry ingredients. What do I mean by that? Well, I have a little bit of all-purpose flour, some baking powder, and some salt, kosher salt, and that goes in. That holds the whole thing together. Now I want a little bit of citrus kick, and I had sort of a toss-up between orange and lemon, but every single time I made it with lemon, it just really sang the way I wanted it to. So lemon zest goes in there, one large lemon. That's quite a bit of zest, but it really comes through. And then what about some spices? Cinnamon and cardamom are best buds in this particular cake, and they go in now, right? I'm gonna pulse this until it all is incorporated equally, and we'll move on to the butter. That's all it takes. We're past halfway, so it all happens really fast. Now the butter should be cold right out of the fridge, 7 tablespoons. So a stick of butter is 8 tablespoons, so one less, and I'm just simply dotting them around. If I put it all at once, it probably wouldn't process equally. So I'm gonna process this, pulse it a couple times until the pieces are a little bit larger than the size of a pea. Here we go. That's all it takes. All right. Now to bring it all together, I'm not adding milk, I'm not adding water, I'm adding eggs, 2 large eggs. With the egg white, it's mostly water. There's a little bit of water in the yolk as well, and that'll work perfectly to make a nice thick batter. So those 2 large eggs go in, and a little bit more flavor with just a delicious splash of vanilla extract, just a touch. All right, those are all the ingredients. So we pull this together and let it run until it's all homogenized. It's pretty darn thick, thicker than you might have ever experienced before, but believe me, it's exactly what we want, nice and even. That's it. We're done essentially making the cake, okay? Really simple, and it smells heavenly, let's be honest. All this is going to go and transfer into my prepared springform pan. Get every single tablespoon out of this food processor and smooth it inside the springform pan. Then we take these beautiful blackberries and we sort of dot semicircle patterns around and pop it in the oven, set for 350 degrees for exactly 30 minutes. Truth be told, the most difficult part about making this cake is waiting the 20 minutes necessary for it to cool down properly so the outside edge gets nice and crispy. How crispy? Well, let's give it a shot. That's pretty darn crispy. Here we go. I just love that sound. Give yourself a little healthy slice. Here we go. And already it just smells so heavenly. It's like having high tea in London, even though it's very rustic and easy to make. It's pretty special. Cinnamon, right off the top of my head. Lemon zest, the fresh berry. You get a little molasses, which brings like that moisture and denseness, which is really lovely, but it's forgiving. But it's complex. It has moisture. This outer edge, listen to that. It's like a Biscoff cookie. But the fruit, the fresh berry that's in there with that lemon zest, and it plays all together in this wonderful balance. It's almost like sitting on the lap of the French grandmother that I never had, pulling this together in no time flat, but having it be somewhat elevated. I would serve this for dinner with a dollop of like amaretto whipped cream, and it would be elegant. I would serve this for breakfast with a cappuccino or a cup of coffee, and it would be equally as good. And if I had friends over, if there was any left over, I would serve this for like tea, and it would work absolutely perfectly. Give this a shot, because I know you're gonna love it. And chances are you already have all the ingredients in your kitchen right now to make it whenever you want. I think you're gonna love it. Cheers.